I want to start with a question. What leads us to being positive all the time? This question I started to ask myself since I were at school, when I saw these pictures of models, actors, but not to go far, I had a best example of the positive thinking person who is my granddad. Until this time, when he is 86 years old and he has totally lost his eyesight, he keeps to being positive and he energizes all our family with his positive focusing. So based on this personal example, I want to share with you my thoughts on what gives us this feeling to being positive. For sure, we should start with our thoughts. By paying attention to our thoughts, we can we can make meaningful changes in our life. But you need to be sure that you're not putting labels on yourself. Like, I want to be a good mom, I want to be a good girl, I want to be a good son for my mom, I want to be a good worker. These are labels. And it could be borders which you will not let yourself to cross. Such labels could be when you put yourself as a victim, when we start to give to others responsibility for being happy. And think for a while others should be responsible for your mood. Only you can change it on positive if you will shift it, if you will shift your thinking. But you may change it only when you will be conscious in every moment in your life. You know, when I started to work with my European colleagues, I had to get used to their manner of behavior and their thinking. When we first had our business trip, I behaved like I used to behave with my native colleagues because I didn't show to them my full emotions, and I didn't want to show to them that I don't know something. I didn't saw this movie picture, I didn't visit this museum, so to be with them on the same level, you know. But I mentioned that my European colleagues began frustrated because of my behavior, as they didn't realize my reaction on what is going on around me. And for European colleagues, to have a worker with a good mood is much more important than to have a worker who is ready to work for 24 hours per day, because they understand that good mood affects on the results of the worker. So my European colleagues began to ask me all the time, are you happy? After we had lunch, are you happy, dear? After I had some task, Alesya, are you happy to do this? After we went to visit some park, Alesya, are you happy to see this? And then I began frustrated. And it even began to bother me because they ask me all the time this question. But then when I started to focus on my answer on this question, I suddenly realized that I am happy. I don't want to pay attention on my tasks, which will be in future, and I don't want to focus on what others will think about me. You know, these are ordinary questions, but I firstly realized them fully only at this time. And I realized that at that time I was happy. At this time I am happy. I'm happy to perform amongst these great Toastmasters participants, and thank you for listening to me so carefully. And I would like to really encourage you to think now about at least one more thing about what you feel that you are happy now. And please remember that you affect those who are around you. in direct or indirect manner. Positive or negative, your attitude can influence others, even if you are not aware about it. And when you begin to nurture positive thinking, you can foster a positive environment around you. Please keep in mind the scheme of positive thinking, which are consciousness, thoughts, and finally positivity. Thank you guys for listening to me. Madam Testmasters.